So Jason, how are you doing, man? It's been like ages.
It has been ages. And I mean, I'm telling you this, you were doing
And
this stuff.
agents.
Yeah, right. You were doing this stuff though. I mean, Gilad, I got to tell you, like, I don't even think that people across, like America understood what was even going on in InsurTech. Because I mean, I did that Facebook Live with you inside that house. You remember that? Everybody was piled inside their house. There was
No. That wasn't house. That was the episode that we brought you. We had
the life insurance
Ryan,
guy.
No, Ryan Henley.
Yeah, Ryan Henley. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was it with Bold Penguin back there? Or was that even before that?
I think it was before that. I think it was with Trusted Choice.
Yes. And I had a few people on the venue. I think it was in here in Santa Monica in the Oracle offices, and we beamed you or either it was some sort of a weird combination. Oh no. Yeah, doesn't matter. So it's been.
Here's what does matter. That since then we have come a long way, right? InsurTech first came along; they were going to displace the agents, and just like every piece of technology that's come for the last 30, 40 years, we realized we are the best distribution system, right? Yes. And so now it transformed, into InsurTech now helping independent agents with the technology we have. And that's one of the things I want to talk to you about. It has to do, Gilad,
let's go. Yeah, good job.
It has to do with the fact that not everything, but most of the things that InsurTech has created for my agency is the front part. If I take the customer journey from the beginning until the end, when they're first hearing my name to when they bought multiple products and referring people, if we take that journey and we split that in half and we put sales journey right in the middle of it, the sales and the quoting, everything that was in that first half is what InsurTech has helped us. Creating leads, cultivating leads, CRMs, lead management, all this stuff. But if you think really about it, that's really all sales industries need that. Where I believe InsurTech is now going to run into a challenge is the sale and after. You have to be an insurance agent to understand this. You have to understand that we run our agencies different than any other industry because we have renewable and residual income, right? But not only that, all of us do it differently than each other. And so one of the things that I see here coming up is the technology that is being created for and by the independent insurance agents. I had a technologist come to me the other day, or a guy who was in technology, and he said, well, Jason, your CRM is Agency Zoom. That's InsurTech. I said, no, it's not. It's IndieTech. If you are an Allstate agent, you can't use this. If you're a carrier, you can't use this. If you're a consumer, you can't use this. That technology is created for us by us. It's created for us. That's IndieTech. And so when we start to look at, as I said earlier, all IndieTech is InsurTech, but not all InsurTech is IndieTech. And when people, especially your listeners, really think about that, you know what that means? Opportunity. That means that if you're an InsurTech, and it's going to be hard for InsurTechs to be able to realize what those functions are, this is a way for you to connect with an agent and say, I've got this piece of technology. How can we plug that into your agency? So this is an exciting part for InsurTech. This is not a down to them. I just want us to know that IndieTech is where a lot of this future is.
Okay, you throw in so many different things. We need to break it down, recompose it, and there are like so many different paths. Oh my God. So first of all, what the hell is IndieTech? I know that you already said, because when I hear indie, it's independent. And now, needless to say, I live in Los Angeles. So when you say indie, it's an indie film, not an independent agent. By the way, are there still captive agents? Just, humor me on this. How many?
There are captive agents.
Well, as a former farmers person, I can tell you. But how many indie agents out there?
40,000. That is by best practices by Reagan Consulting that does it through the Big I every year. And right now there are 40,000. And what is amazing is that for the last 5 to 6 years we have seen an increase in agencies. But we're actually starting to see a plateau right now. And what's happening is what's really spurred that growth is agents who are in these old agencies who are saying, I want to use technology, and they just go create their own. You know what I mean? So what was the other question that you asked?
Oh, there are more, but that's actually very interesting. So the change in the agency, only 40,000 agencies or agents?
Agencies. I think there's
Agencies.
like 400.
Okay.
I think there's like 400 and some thousand licensed insurance professionals, something like that.
Okay, because somewhere, well, it's been a while since I last checked. It was about 200, but 400 makes sense. Maybe it's a combination of PNC and Life, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just talking PC. That's right. Gilad, I'm
That's
just
fine,
talking to
man.
PC. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the agencies. Do we know something? Do you have the latest statistics about the age? Because, we are keep talking about, most of the agencies, the average is 6 years old. They are retiring. Do we have a new generation stepping in? Do we know anything about that?
Yes, we do. We do have a huge generation stepping in. Here's something, Gilad, how old are you?
44.
44. Then I'm 44. That's a beautiful age. Let me
I
explain to you
know.
why. So there's something that's going on here when you're talking about the youth and you're talking about the older age. There's something that's happening and it's finally starting to slide. I've seen this for the last 6, 7, 8 years. And what we have is we have what we call Generation X, right? So maybe you and I would be considered that, but I'm going to challenge that right now because Generation X would be someone who was born analog and they
Mm-hmm.
were raised analog, right?
Yep.
But then we have the next generation, which is millennial, but they were born digital and they were raised digital. From about the year of 77 to about 82, if you were born in there, you were what we call exennials. Now, I've been talking about this for a long time, and someone finally wrote a book or wrote an article about it. So any of your listeners can go look this up. But we are known as the exennials because
Yeah.
we were born analog, but we were raised digital. And what that means, going back to what you asked, happens to be that people that are in that age, like you and I, we're able to understand where that young millennial is coming from. We get that digital, but we also were raised by Generation X that we can understand where they're coming from. We can respect the wisdom that they have. And what's happened is when us exennials were in our early 30s, there was a lot of turmoil that was happening because the older generation was really fighting back. But now we have majority of the insurance industry that is millennials, and you're starting to see them now push it forward. And what I just said, they're either mandating that they start getting ownership over 5 to 10 years in an agency, or they're going to leave and they're going to create their own. And when they go and create their own, they're going to go right to technology because it's something that they know they need that makes them efficient. It's how carriers want to work with them, and they have to do it right off the bat because it's only them. So to answer that, that's kind of how that shift we're seeing right now. By the time you and I are 50, the millennials will just be huge. But the point is, the reason why you have this podcast is I guarantee you have people older than you and younger than you that
Mm-hmm.
associate and understand you, that they know that you understand them.
Yes. Well, when we were kids, we played in the street. My mom be home by dinner. There were no cell phones. Cell phones were appeared when I was a teenager, and then we had those blocks and the Nokias and all that big stuff, and no one really had them. I think that my own personal cellular phone was, and not like a card that I use for a public phone. Are they still public
Mhm.
phones? I'm not sure. This was when I was in the service, so in the army service only. Then I had like a small one a small one that I had the time to power it up only in the weekends, telling my parents, "It's like, well, I'm not going to be this weekend home, so yeah, maybe see you next weekend." But yeah, all that stuff is how you approach life, responsibility, personal responsibility, and the convenience the technology, the digital age introduced. And here is something that, we are going deeper in that route. Chat GPT, AI. This is for this new generation. And yesterday I had a conversation with a lawyer that was talking about when he started easily. He's, deep into the early 70s while we are at the end of the 70s. Back in his days, lawyers didn't type. You had data processors. You had secretaries that used to type. And lawyers couldn't say, I'm a lawyer, I will not type. And today, if you know how to use a keyboard and you know how to type, great, this is part of your skill as a lawyer. But with ChatGPT, you don't even going to search everything. It's like, and I started to use those. It's like, Chat, please write me a contract. Then it has to say, I need to rewrite adjust it a little bit, send it to the lawyer to go over it. But, it removed it from 5 hours or, a few $1,000s of billing to an hour of billing. And it completely changed how we interact, and it's going to impact other things.
I had never thought of it that way, cutting down on the billing because you're actually making the majority of it and they're just checking it. That's good stuff. I like that.
Oh, the skill is going to change, right? From creative and building, we are going to move to reviewing and editing. But those are human skills. Let's go back, talk about agents.
One second, I'm writing this down. Yeah. That's what you just said. You said that we'll go from something to editing. What was that you said, Gilad?
From creating and building. So to have that skill of taking the foundation and writing things ourselves, right? We are actually going to switch to reading, editing, and just reviewing an AI work until that AI is going to be perfect.
Yeah, I had to write that down. So I'm doing this big presentation in Arkansas and then one in Arizona here this month. And I'm trying to come up with just things that agents can see that they need, that they can be using it for. There's an agent who's writing a book on workers' compensation, and he's turned it into a children's book. So he had ChatGPT write out all the stuff that you and I, if you were an insurance guy, you would read it and go, okay, here's what a company needs to do. And then he said, turn it into a children's book. And so it took that and rewrote it to where hopefully the dad or the mom will read it to their kid and be learning about safety at the same time as that. So genius stuff that would have cost thousands of dollars to do. But now ChatGPT can do it. And as you say, now we just need to edit, read, edit, and review. And I like that. I like that a lot. That's why I wrote that down. So August 29th, 30th, and 31st in Indianapolis, Indiana. See, Gilad, I like to market, right? Indianapolis, independent insurance agent. We're going to use technology to gain back our independence. See all that? So for all your listeners, if you're listening to this, whether you're an InsurTech or IndieTech, we have invited around 160, 63, 64 IndieTech people. What is IndieTech? IndieTech is a company or software that is made for independent insurance agents, sometimes by independent insurance agents, but they're all made for. So for instance, Vertafore. Vertafore makes AMS 360, makes software for us. Now, they make software for insurance companies too, but the 80% of their revenue is for independent insurance agents. I would say that the technology they use, you can't be any other profession and use AMS 360, which is their flagship product, right? So you have to look at that so that you look at that. Now, if you're InsurTech, that doesn't mean, as I said, that you could be Ask Kodiak, right? Ask Kodiak is a perfect example. They're an InsurTech. They help the carriers. They do that, but they now realize that the main distribution system is us. And so now they're creating their software to have an indie tech side of it. I don't know if they're listening, they're laughing at me, but keep in mind, guys, I'm an insurance agent. So I would be considered that. So I would want Ask Kodiak at this thing, right? But here's the thing, Gilad. This is so important. Of the 160 some companies we invited, I know less than 30 of them. And I know people in this industry, right? And I'm sitting here thinking most of them have not sold $1. Let me tell you about one of them. One of them, the guy has AI technology, ChatGPT. He has
Mm-hmm.
built it into the browser. This is so monumental. This guy has no idea. I do not like to invest in technology because it's changing so fast. I told this guy I'll give him any amount of money once because this is the real shit. So if I go into a carrier, okay, this is my life. We enter the information and Gilad calls me. I ask him all the questions, right? His auto is home, driving, blah, 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 blah. I put it all into the system. Right now I have to then go retype it again into a rater where I can rate 5, 10 companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got 3 or 4 companies that don't work in the rater. So then I got to go enter it over here 3 or 4 more times. Yes, this is how stupid and old fashioned the insurance industry, but it's getting better. Not with this. I enter the information, I take it all in. AI has already watched me work in my agency for 6 to 7 weeks. And what it'll do is it'll take all that information and it will instantly fill all those things in a snap. It will run the reports. It will read the loss runs of all of your tickets and accidents. It will then go up to the underwriting guidelines for the company, see if you qualify, and present me a quote for 11 companies in less than 30 seconds. You can't beat that. And here's what I told him. Now, here's the part that'll just rock your world. Okay. This eliminates the
I'm
need.
ready. Okay, go for it.
You don't need APIs or integrations. It eliminates them. Because if the AI is in the browser and it sees that I'm open to this screen, it automatically knows what I'm getting ready to do next. And maybe I could say, well, I want to make a payment here, but it doesn't connect here. As long as I can access this in the browser and this in the browser, I don't need them to talk to each other. The AI will talk through the browser to them and make the connection. I don't need companies to create 127 APIs so that my clients can use my mobile app. No, just let my clients use the mobile app inside the browser and let the AI capture the information and place it where it needs to go. And here's the thing, it'll be RPA because with robotic processing automation, anytime that UX is changed, the robot's lost. It's like, wait a minute, I was supposed to put the name here and it's not there anymore. With AI, it will notice that, hey, it may not be on page 1. The company moved it to page 3. So it's going to know that. It's going to place that information there. So as the carriers change their system, the AI will know. This is unbelievable shit. And that's only one of the people who are going to be there. I mean, Gilad, it's amazing what we're going through right now, brother.
So tell me, what other solutions agents need, right? To write it, because at the end of the day, when I think about independent agents, it's an agency, it's a small business. Part of them are very big businesses, but it's starting from 1 person to 100 people agency, if not more. By the way, when are we moving from a big agency to something which is colossal? Is there like 200 people and more in an agency that it's like, oh my God, it's huge? Is there another like that?
Large agency is anything over 2 million in revenue. Getting huge is over 10 million in revenue.
Oh, I know people who have
not premium revenue. The money I get to spend.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, so
my agency's probably 9 million in premium, but we're about 1 million in revenue.
And how much people do you actually need to do that? Because that's the key point. I was going for number of people, not the written premium or the revenue. I was just curious about the
most people my size would have 15 licensed people roughly.
Okay.
I have 7 licensed people and I have 5 VEs, virtual employees from the Philippines. So we are we use technology very efficiently.
Are you using CoverDesk and this company?
No, Andy's company is a good company. I have my own company. I don't think I don't think they were paid right and we weren't getting quality. So I just went and started my own company in the Philippines and did it myself.
Okay, so going back, and that actually has a great correlation to that, because at the end of the day, when I think about agents and agencies, that's a business. There is an owner, they need to run the business, and the most important, there are a few factors there that are important to a small business owner. Small, 2 million, it's not that small, but let's go with that. Which basically, can I sell the operation of my business and of course the cost of the operation? And that's more or less it. We can break it down into the balance sheet and the cash flow and all the other stuff that now as an investment banker, I love and I dive into. But in this case, can you get leads? Can you get quality leads? And can you run the business with less people so it will be more efficient? And
Right.
what type of technology? We talked about AI, and AI, that's a power steam, that's a steam engine that can help you do things that you couldn't do. It gives you power, it gives you force. What type of things, technologies, solutions do you need to make your agency better?
Okay, very good point. So for a very good question. So for the prior 30 to 40 years, the insurance industry has been dominated by agency management systems.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it, it's a really terrible piece of technology. All it does is house the policy information. And I still have to enter the stuff. It would be like me giving you a bank app, Gilad, and saying, hey, you have to enter in all of your deposits and all of your withdrawals. You know what I mean? You'd be like, I don't want to, I just need it to automatically do it. Right. So that, oh man, I want to, gosh, I lost my train of thought.
Man, I remember when I moved to the US, so we're talking about what, 2009. I still remember I had to submit a check, to deposit a check, and I still had to fill three papers just to deposit a check. It was the white, the yellow, and the pink slips. You give it to the KZ, and even through the ATM, if you wanted to deposit the check, you need to fill those copies. It drove me crazy. I didn't get why you need so much work just to deposit a check. Now, taking that manual work and going back to the agencies, and I hope that you find your trail of thought while
the
I was
AMS
talking.
3 is the AMS.
Yes.
So the AMS is what we have used. And I know people don't grasp this. The AMSs are going away. Now, they're still going to be used to hold policy data. But what I need for my agency is I need a CRM where we manage the customer relationship. Every agent will tell you, oh, it's all about relationships. It's all about relationships. It's true. Then why don't you have some key piece of software that manages that? Right. And then when we go forward, as we look to where we're going, the CRM is there to where it's about relationship management, not about policy management, right? The carrier should be about policy management, and they should give us data so that we can create the customer relationship management, and we should share that data with them as well. Because it's not the category data. A lot of your listeners know this. It's not the categorical data. It's not the auto. It's not the what's their first name, last name, what's their address, that's categorical data. It's the behavioral data is what we need software to capture. It's the behavioral data of when did you get that name? Who gave you that name? What time of day did they give you that name? How did they give it to you on the phone? Did they give it to you through email? This allows us to know and understand the behaviors because it is, and I'm going to say this, and I've said this for years, it is not the expectations that we have to try to meet with our customers. Wayne Gretzky said, don't go where the puck is, go where it is going. It's not the expectations, though. It's the unexpectations. It's the things that they don't realize that they need to make their life better. And those are the type of things that I need to be able to hit on. I need to be able to know the best way that they like to work with us. I need to be able to know, the number one place that and this is a huge part that any of you InsurTechs can come out with. Donna's got this and other things. Where do we lose the most data when I'm talking with my customers? On the phone. They're sitting there talking to me for 20 minutes about their life, and I'm not able to capture that data, right? And now what we need to be able to do is take that, transcribe it, read through that, pull out the data that we need, and be able to put it in our system. It doesn't go in a management system. It goes in a CRM. And that's where that kind of comes together. So CRM, relationship management, is huge going forward, and AI will be a big part of that.
Who is the agent of 10 years from now, as we see more zillennials and millennials populate the agencies?
Yes. So it's two different things. Personal lines will look a little bit different than commercial lines. Because, 88% of all commercial lines policies written in America are written by an independent insurance agent. 88%. That's a lot. Okay, not State Farm, not Allstate. They're like less than 10%, right? So we write that amount. In the commercial world, we will be connecting our customers with experts. Agents all along have always tried to have this billing solution, always tried to have these risk advisor solutions, try to have all these things. And they try to show it, they try to brand it underneath their name. And what they do is they're not a jack of all trades. Mom said if you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. Mm-hmm. And when you're an agent and when you have the ancillary, I'll give you an example, a company called Yellowbird, a company called Zingeries. So Yellowbird is a company that we use to do all of our inspections. They do our OSHA work, they do our driver training and everything. We don't go to an agency and say, hey, we don't go to a business and say, hey, we're going to do this for you. We say, no, we're reading and we're advising you on your risk. And these are the experts who have went to college, who know how to do this stuff, not me. Right? And agents are scared to do that. Here on Zingeries, they handle all of our claims for us. So now we're not having to be the people to do it. We have an actual company that is a professionals at doing this, and it makes your claim time go down. You're closing claims quicker. You're having less losses, all different types of stuff. On the personal line side, it's more about giving the transaction. This is where the behavioral data comes in. You know, sometimes my producers are very, very successful in the morning making calls. Sometimes at the afternoon, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they have to stay till 8. How do we quit guessing about when that person is best available?
Interesting.
There's so much technology that tells us about where that person is and how that person reacts and when is that good time, right? Those are the different types of things you're going to have to, that a customer experience is huge. And as I said, used to be customer service. Then it became customer experience. Then it became customers' expectations. And today we have to meet them at their unexpectations. We have to be where they don't realize that we are. And I can give you some examples of that, but that's what I think. Gilad, here's the deal. A lot of agents get mad because they say that we are not treated as professionals. And you know why we're not treated as professionals? Because we don't act like professionals. Let's think about other professionals for a minute. Let's think about a lawyer. Let's think about if you are getting a divorce and you go to a lawyer who does taxes, what's he going to tell you? Sorry, I don't do that. You need to go down to the person who specializes in that. Think of a doctor. You got a foot problem and you go see your cardiologist. What's he going to say? Gilad, I don't know why you're here, man. I do the heart. You got to go see a podiatrist for your foot, right?
Yes.
Think of what an insurance agent does. They can call in and they can say, hey, I need auto, home, or I need umbrella, or I need motorcycle insurance, RV insurance, life insurance, health insurance, annuity insurance. And you know what the person says? Oh, yeah, I can help you with all that.
Yeah. Just let me sell it.
That's not a fucking professional.
Let me sell it. I'm a sales guy. But that's another thing, right? On average, you have 10, 11 appointments. And ideally, you need, as an agent, you represent those companies. As a broker, you represent the customer. More or less, it done the same thing. And and agents, at the end of the day, will place not the best product, not the best policy, whatever they can sell the fastest. That's
right. There's a lot of truth there. Whatever's easiest.
Yeah. Can I write it now? Great. Okay, done. Here, that's the best policy for you. Because it's a business.
This is the reason why people love Progressive. And we all have this love-hate relationship with Progressive. No agent truly loves Progressive, okay? Because they're a butthead to deal with sometimes. But when it comes to rating and quoting and boom, 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 someone can call in, boom, 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 bam, 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 boop, boop, boop. We're issuing a policy. It's easy. Everybody else is red flags going up. You got to call the underwriter, and it's just like they're not in our world. But technology's helping them.
And that's a point. And that's where I think that not just agents need to, or InsurTech needs to go. And InsurTech, we need to understand what InsurTech is. Just technology providers, or is it all the cool MGAs or digital agencies that should attend your conference? When I look at that, I think about small businesses that need to sell, but need also to be more professional and niche. So when I talk to all these emerging digital MGAs that also trying to be niche, I'm telling them no one cares about APIs. There is no independent agency that has engineering capacity to use and integrate with your API. You need to give them as you mentioned earlier, an AI tool, a Chrome extension, something that they can put, click, will do everything for them so they can sell your product as fast as possible. Because today, it's only about convenience. Now, hopefully, with the right technology and right tools, they can, all that convenience and automation will allow or release time and free time for the agents to step forward and say, I'm an expert in this. There is a generalist and there is an expert.
That's exactly right. There would be a separation between that. And I believe that being a niche is where we're coming to. We will be seen as a professional because it's just going to be too hard to leave somebody for certain things. So at IndieTech, one of the things is the 160-ish, how many ever people that we've invited, most agents don't know what they do. And so that's going to be a problem. So when I thought of this, I went to ITC and I walked around ITC for my second year. And I realized, like, as an independent insurance agent, I'm kind of a personality, right? I'm kind of out there a lot. So for me going to that, I'm seeing people like you, other people, we're saying hi, we're catching up. But if you're an independent insurance agent and you don't have a podcast and you're going there to actually look for technology for your agency, no, it's a terrible thing to go to. Now, if you're an InsurTech carrier or a carrier, VCs and stuff, shit is awesome for you guys. But as I walked around, my business partner got sick on Wednesday when I was there. And I walked around and I started taking notes because, Gilad, this is how the kind of guy I am. And I started thinking to myself, I wonder if I could bring this to the independent insurance system. And so then a couple of weeks later, I went to AppliedNet and I realized AppliedNet, they have the best technology show. And I like the way it is, but it's only for applied stuff, right? There's not just for everybody. And they had these classes that they would teach in the afternoon, in the morning, about how to clean up your data. And you would go through this system. It was so cool. And I thought to myself, man, I would love to do that. So I'm finally sitting around, I'm talking to people at the Agents Council for Technology, and I'm talking to these people and I'm saying, we need to have an event. And everybody's like, oh, because no one has enough balls to do it, man. They just don't have enough balls. So I said, okay, fine, I'm doing it. And they're like, oh, yeah. But that's what this is. So what we've done, the reason why I call it the IndieTech Showcase Experience is we have 160 some people that need to showcase their technology. Right? That's what they need. Second of all, I want to create an experience for the attendee and for the InsurTech, IndieTech carrier that's going to be there. And let me give you an example. I have it broke out to where you will walk through the customer journey. I broke the journey, as we talked about before, from the beginning to the end. I broke it into 6 sections, and it's all color coded. So as you walk through, you will have certain color coded carpet. And let's say you're in qualifying, the first section. All the technology that you would use for qualifying, right here. You go to the next section, everybody you would use to quote, right here. All the InsurTech carriers that you would use, right here. So as you're walking through the customer journey, you're getting ready to go, oh, okay, that technology works here. Let me go see that. So maybe you need some technology for referrals, right? To get referrals. Well, you're going to go down to the last section and all that technology is going to be there for that, right? So it allows you to see it. Now, as the attendee goes up and starts talking to a company and starts wanting to know more about it, they can learn for 5 minutes instead of all the other people walking by that they might miss. They can say, hey, we have 2 demo stages, something I took from ITC. We have 2 demo stages on the opposite ends of this. Now, keep in mind, this area is as big as 2 football fields. And this isn't no ballroom. This is an exhibit. I learned from ITC. I took them notes. And we're going to, on each end, we're going to have the demo stages where they can do demos. During the day, we're going to be having those tracks like AppliedNet had, where you can learn all day. And then I also am having a CEO panel. I've invited the CEO of Vertifor, Applied, PIA, Ivans. They've all said yes. So now I'm bringing all these people onto a stage that no one's ever seen these people all on the same stage together. But I want people to know that this is about independent insurance agents and the technology invented for them. And if you're really listening to this and you're an investor, I want you to come too. Because I've got an hour or 2-hour session where I'm going to bring these IndieTech carriers or IndieTech companies into the same room, have you guys kind of mingle, and maybe you can find out, if you're an investor, you can find the next greatest thing. and because I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity there for you. So that is what IndieTech is. That's on August 30th and 31st in Indianapolis, Indiana. So I encourage you to come join. You can be a vendor. You can go to IndieTech 2023. That's INDIETECH 2023.com. You can go there as a vendor, or you can go there as an attendee and find out everything you need to know about it.
I will also add the link in the comments or in the bio part of this
Thank
episode.
You.
Of course, listen, it's part of building this ecosystem, and we can geek out about talking about how to structure conferences and expo halls, and there is such a big, and I've seen many of them, and ITC it's a bigger scale, right? There are all kinds of cute, intimate symposiums that I really love, and the big expo halls that go for miles. And if you've ever been to Money 2020 or CES, it's over the entire city. Or the Salesforce conference in San Francisco that they have what
is that? Dreamforce?
Dreamforce, right? Which is we're just going to take the city. Right, they have about.
I went there 4 years ago. I was amazed. I was like, "Damn!"
Yeah, no, it's like San Francisco is Salesforce. You understand how much money they are making in order to do that. But yeah. So, IndieTech, August, I think
30th and 31st. Yes, and I encourage everybody to come, please. And not only that, it's $599 to come. $599. I'm making it cheap so I can get as many people as I can there so that they can see this IndieTech. IndieTech is the future. As I started by saying, it's that second half. We've got to showcase that. And then once IndieTech gets up there and starts working with some of these greats of InsurTech, starts showing them the other side, putting it together because we are better together, that's how we're going to raise up the independent insurance agent. We are about choice. Independent insurance agents are about options. The captives have one option. The directs have one option, but you don't have an agent. We provide all that. But you know where they beat us? The technology, but not anymore. IndieTech is going to eliminate that. And we, as an independent insurance system, are the best distribution system. If we weren't the best distribution system and a brochure would sell us, the carriers wouldn't have us. But they know they can't send a brochure to somebody. This is about relationships, and we're the one that have them.
Now, usually, and we're going to do the same with you, my last question is, can you give us some sort of a tip or an advice for a good life?
A tip for a good life?
Yes.
My producers that I trained about a year and a half, they've been with me for 2 years. And one of them said to me, Jason, if there was one thing that you could look back on in your last 20, 25 years, and you could say that was probably the biggest thing that created some of the success that I've had. There's 2 or 3 things that I can look at, right? Podcasting, speaking, but that's just a result, right? And how we know that is not everybody can do that. And when you have something that's life-changing, that's something that could probably happen to anybody. And I said, helping people. I know that just sounds so cliche, but I have done everything I can. I do missionary work in Cuba that I don't openly talk about a lot of times. I'm moving a family from Cuba to here. I created a podcast company that I simply gave to my business partner because I know she was the one that was going to need it. I do everything I can. I created a virtual employee company. I created that only because the industry is a very, very shady industry, and I wanted to protect agents. I do the podcast, and I spend hours of time because I want people to know the life that I have. And what do I mean by that? Insurance has helped taken me places that I've never thought that I'd go. I've met people that I never thought that I'd meet. And I have given my family the life that I never thought that I would give them. And I want people to have that. So if I have to have a podcast to do that, I'm going to do that. I work on SAR, Search and Rescue Canine, one of the fourth largest canine search and
wow.
rescues. I'm the chairman of that organization and have been for 10 years. We find lost people, people with Alzheimer's, kids that run away. We have airplanes, helicopters, everything that we do to do that. And I'm happy to lead that. Some people say, when do you sleep? I sleep every day from 8 to 4 because what I'm able to do is delegate. But I have to delegate because I have to continue helping people. It was Zig Ziglar who said, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get everything that you need. And God, I remember when I heard that when I was younger, I thought to myself, and another one that I heard is, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Gosh, that meant a lot to me when I was 24, 25. And I think following those simple principles, I think holding the door open when you come out of the gas station matters. I think saying things when things need to be said to show compassion for somebody matters. We don't know the battle that somebody else is going through. I have mental illness. I have bipolar disorder. People don't know that about me. They don't know what I go through every day. But it's important that we give what we can to people because that is the greatest thing that will pay dividends in this world. I don't know anything better.
I love it. And that ties to a few other conversations that we can have maybe offline, and which part of it, it's about the generational change. Us as Gen X or Xennials.
Xennials, yes.
Thank
And you
you.
look that up, Gilad. I'm telling you, there's stuff out there about it.
No,
When I first saw it, I'm like, this son of a bitch has been listening to me. I was talking about this.
Yeah, no, it's a 5 years generation. It's a very small, it's the tail of the Gen X, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, it connects to many other conversations that we should have on a different occasion. It's less on insurance. It's more about where we at as a society and where do we want to take it, and the polarization, and where we are in just the small things that you just said. Where is our principles, and how do we connect and operate in a community? From opening the door or keeping the door open to someone, does it take an effort? No, it doesn't take an effort. The effort is that when you grow up, it means that you are aware to people in your community. You are part of a community, you contribute to it. And it's not just me and my TikTok, or this is my entire life, which whatever goes here. And it's so much important from, being part of some sort of a charity, helping other people. Again, different conversation, and I think that we should end this episode here because I can talk about it for hours, and that will have nothing to do with it. And usually I love to also...
I like that question, though. I like that question. That was a good question.
About advice. I need to figure out how to articulate that question better. I know this is going to be episode maybe 96 or 95. And I always say, hey, give us a tip. But I need to articulate it maybe in a different way. What type of an advice you're going to give yourself or I don't know, at 20 years old or something like that.
If you have somebody new in your business and they asked you the question, because like I told you, this is where I came up with this. What is one thing in your life, looking back, Jason, that you could tell me has paid the most dividends for you? Maybe not money, that's what he asked me. And I was like, whoa, and then that's where I had to give him, because I firmly believe that shit just happens weird for me, man. When things need to go right, they go right. I don't question it. I just keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, I don't want to keep it only to the business, because that's, usually I start the podcast is with a hobby. So it's about the person, and ends it with some sort of an advice, not just for a business, but general for a life hack or something like that. Because there is more than us than just we are insurance, we are professionals and stuff like that. We are people. And that's why it's, between... one of my favorites is from Caribou, that he sort of gave, this is how you do crabbing. I have no idea. I didn't know what crabbing is. Basically, it's fishing for crabs. And that's how he's doing it, right? Virginia. But it's a beautiful way that he described it. So there are all kinds of things that enlighten us and
you
expand
could
our
have a whole
horizon.
podcast on this. You're right, Gilad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man, Jason, thank you very, 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 very much for joining me and spending 50 minutes in front of the camera.